Hey viewers, Marcus from Topic Tech, and today I'm going to check out the 4th gen Apple TV. This is the 32 gig model. It comes in 64 gigs as well, but for my purposes, I can't imagine needing more than 32 gigs. The 32 gigabyte and 64 gigabyte Apple TV models start off at $149 and $199 respectively. Let's see what's in the box. You've got the Apple TV, which is definitely bigger than the previous generations. The remote has been redesigned. You have a touchpad that you can swipe to navigate. You can also click on the sides. There is a button for the new Siri feature. We'll explore this more later on. Next we have, of course, the power cable. We have an instruction booklet, and Apple has included a lightning cable. The lightning cable is used to recharge the remote. The back of the Apple TV no longer has an optical audio out port, which really isn't an issue. If you are using optical audio, there's a good chance your TV has that port, or your sound system is new enough to have an HDMI in, which offers better sound quality. The Apple TV itself is larger than the 2nd and 3rd gens before it, but because this isn't a portable device, this shouldn't be much of an issue. It's still pretty small. The new Apple TV supports HDMI-CEC, which has become a standard in technology that allows your devices connected via HDMI to control certain things with the other device's remote. For example, my Apple TV remote can control the volume of my sound system through HDMI. My TV's remote can be used to navigate the Apple TV. This is a little thing that goes a long way. When I sit down to watch TV, I only have to juggle one remote. HDMI-CEC also allows the Apple TV to turn on your television if it is off. Setting this guy up is extremely easy now, especially if you already have an iPhone or an iPad. It will ask you to pair your device via Bluetooth and then copies the Wi-Fi and Apple ID settings from your device to the Apple TV, saving you the labor of having to input your passwords over and over. If you don't have an iOS device, you can still manually enter your settings. Those who owned a previous Apple TV won't have much to relearn. It just looks cleaner, fresher, and more in line with iOS 7 or later when it comes to design. It's extremely easy to navigate, and there are all kinds of little things taken from iOS. For example, if an app isn't responding or working properly, double-click on the Home button. This brings up the multitasking menu. Just like on an iPhone or iPad, swipe up on the touchpad to close the app. Holding the Home button down will also ask you if you want to put the device to sleep. The new Siri feature brings a new level of control to the Apple TV experience. For example, you can ask, "What did he say?" and the Apple TV will rewind 15 seconds and put the subtitles on to show you. Ask for sports scores, ask who stars in the movie, and even open specific apps. What is really nice about this is Siri comes up at the bottom, but in a way that doesn't really interrupt what you're viewing. To use Siri, just hold down the microphone button on your remote and speak into the top of the remote, letting go of the button when you're done speaking. The new Apple TV took another page out of the iOS book and features a new tvOS and App Store, which opens up a lot of potential for the Apple TV. tvOS is only available on the 4th gen Apple TV, which is why the 4th gen model comes with 32 and 64 gigabyte options. You are going to need space to download all those apps. If you've purchased games on the iPad, some of those games may be available to download on here. For example, I had Oceanhorn, an amazing Zelda-like game, purchased on my iPad. I saw it was available for the Apple TV, and I went to purchase it. I discovered, though, that I could just re-download it free of charge because I already owned it on my account. This might not be the case with every game, though, so don't put your hopes too high. Unlike the previous models, Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Crackle, and other apps don't come preloaded on this. Apple has given you the ability to choose what ones you want to download. I actually really appreciate this decision. One of the more annoying things about the previous models was having to go into the menu and turn off the unwanted apps from appearing on the home screen. I'm not really into sports, so having all the unused sports subscription icons cluttering my menu just seemed useless to me. One thing I'm pretty excited about is that the App Store has a free Plex app. If you aren't sure what Plex is, it's a home media server, very much like the way Apple TV pulls up your movies, TV shows, and music from your iTunes library on your computer. The benefit to Plex is that it can handle more file types, like MKV, and is not limited to Apple TV box tops. If you have another box top device that can download Plex, you can watch your library there. iTunes home sharing is limited to the Apple ecosystem, and as such, you will need to have an Apple TV to access it from your television. Be sure to keep an eye on our channel as we will be doing a Plex video soon, going over how to set up Plex and how to use it with the Apple TV. A few other things you can get from the App Store are apps for weather, digital fireplaces, and company-specific news sources like IGN and Engadget. There is even a speedtest.net app available. It'll be interesting to see how this App Store grows. I've never really subscribed to the casual gamer scene that swept the smartphone and tablet market. Occasionally I'll play games on my iPhone to help pass time when sitting somewhere, and usually then I have my 3DS with me, so I often play on that. I'm the type of gamer that prefers physical buttons over a touchscreen. But of course, for the sake of all things gaming, I had to check out the Apple TV as a game console. All of the games in the App Store don't require the optional gamepad, instead relying on the simplicity of the touchpad of the remote. The remote has a built-in gyroscope and accelerometer for games that require steering or tilting. As I mentioned previously, I downloaded Oceanhorn to the Apple TV. I move the character by sliding my finger in the direction I want to move. I interact with objects by clicking on the touchpad. Simple enough. I find that it's a bit tedious when fighting enemies and positioning yourself while attacking. I imagine this isn't an issue with the actual gamepad though. But if you're a casual gamer, or have kids, the Apple TV is sure to entertain. The graphics aren't next-gen. Heck, they aren't even really last-gen. I'm not sure where to place them as they are all very cartoony in a way. What I think would work really well is games like Final Fantasy being ported to tvOS. They seem to do really well on iOS, and the RPG interface would do really well with the touchpad control system. But that is yet to happen. Personally, as a gamer, I'm quite content with sticking with my Wii U and PS4 if I find myself wanting to game. So now let's cover the bad things. No Amazon or other video store app outside of iTunes. Even if there was just an Amazon app to access Prime streaming, this would help. On the flip side, iOS users can just AirPlay their Amazon Prime video to their Apple TV. It's more expensive than other media boxes on the market that offer nearly the same core features. It would be nice to have a USB port built into the Apple TV as well to charge the remote, but nowadays nearly everyone has a USB wall plug or computer. I've used a lot of different boxes before, ranging from Roku to Google's Chromecast and various smart TVs, and that's where Apple has the edge. Nothing feels as polished and responsive as the Apple TV. It's the only box in the market that allows you to turn your iTunes library into a media server, so if you've already tied into Apple's ecosystem, this is great. It's simple and intuitive in true Apple fashion. If you already have a second or third gen Apple TV, and you're wondering if this is worth the upgrade, just simply ask yourself if Siri, the App Store, and apps like Plex, and the redesigned remote are worth it. Personally, I don't find them to be a necessity, but more a far reach in luxury. If you're new to the Apple scene, don't be afraid to explore the other options. I'm an Apple fanboy, and I drank the apple juice a long time ago, but I also firmly believe competition breeds innovation. As consumers, we indirectly control what kind of stuff makes it to the market. Companies won't create a product that no one buys because it's lacking the features they need. Trey did a review recently on the Amazon Fire TV. I highly recommend checking it out and even doing research on Roku boxes. If we receive enough requests, we could also do reviews on the Roku boxes. If you have any questions about the Apple TV, leave them in the comment section below. If you're curious as to what we think about certain pieces of tech, also leave that in the comments. Lastly, sharing and liking our videos goes a long way to supporting us in the channel, and allows us to bring more reviews and tutorials to you. This has been Marcus with Topic Tech. Thanks for watching.